one of the things that I did is that at NYU, I decided to take a writing class again. I was going to attempt it again. And the person teaching that writing class was a woman by the name of Louise Bogan, a very renowned artist, writer. She was the poetry editor at a place called The New Yorker. And I walked into a classroom. There were 3 women there, 2 white women and myself, and the rest were all white males, right? So I sat by the door because I said, well, this will be an easy escape, right? And Louise Bogan came in and says, good evening to all of you, a very formal woman. And then she said, does anyone have a poem to share? And I raised my hand very fast, too sweet. And she called on me. She called me up front. I was up front already. And I had pulled out of my purse a poem. And I read the poem. And for the first time, someone responded. Hands went up, and people responded. And then she responded. And I sat down and said, I'm going to take this class. And I stayed in that class. It was in that class that I published my first poem. College made me understand that I had to probably learn outside that arena called university. That I took some courses, in sociology. I took the classes in psychology, and they told us about these experiments. I knew they were talking about me, I really did. And I knew that we were the little mice, being put in these little tall complexes. I knew at some particular point that I had to get a degree if I intended to continue. Crossed the street from Harlem Hospital, looked up and saw a sign that said the Schomburg Library. And a guy was outside smoking. I said, what is the Schomburg Library? He said, lady, sign in, go inside, they'll tell you inside. So I walked inside this fantastically large room with a fantastically long table with all these books packed up, stacked up, and all these men leaned over, not looking up, even when I came, in my little heels walking across the floor. There was a door there, an office, a glass door, and I knocked on the glass door, and this woman opened the door, and I told her my name, and she said, I'm Mrs. Jean Hudson. And I said, what is the Schomburg? She said, oh, my dear, this library has books only and about Negroes. And I said with my smart 19-and-a-half-year-old mouth, there must not be many books in here, huh? She never let me forget that. Oh, it's a great joy to be a mentor, to see students who come into the university. Some are lost like I was lost. Some feel completely overwhelmed, right? Some will come and say, I can't do this work probably, and you work with them privately, right? Some who will take an exam and you realize they didn't understand anything about the question, then you would bring them to your office and say, okay, what don't you understand? Because I've been there. I understand what that's truly all about. So it's been a great joy as a writer to choose some of the students who would go with me when I had a reading. Higher education is key to keeping a country strong. The reason why this country is a wreck right now because it has not drawn on the talent that it has here in this country. And so we've pushed them to do that more via women's studies and Latino studies and Jewish studies and Black studies. We've made them understand the possibilities with higher education.